Things aren't always so black and white, not even in the House of Mouse. Hi, I'm Emily from MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Disney villains who were right all along. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're re-examining Disney animated baddies and their motivations to give their perspective a chance. Now, live-action villains need not apply, but we will be considering henchmen for this list. Now let's get to it. Number 10. Edgar Balthazar, the Aristocats. Admittedly, it's kind of hard to sympathize with a guy who mistreats animals. But to be fair, Edgar's master, who he loyally served for decades, left an outrageous fortune to that family of cats.
Edgar? Actually, do you mean to say you're leaving a vast fortune to Edgar? Everything you possess? Stocks, bonds, this mansion, your country chateau, our treasures, jewels, and...
Oh, no, George, to my cats.
To your cats?
What the heck are the cats gonna do with all that money? The bank doesn't trade in Meow Mix. Can you blame him for losing his mind a bit?
They'll be gone. I'll think of a way. There are a million reasons why I should. All of them dollars. Millions. Those cats have got to go.
Edgar definitely went about things the wrong way, but Duchess and her kittens never asked Madame Adelaide Bonfamille to leave them her fortune. They were just living their best cat lives. As for Edgar, all we're trying to say is that his frustration was understandable. His anger was just severely misplaced, and things snowballed. Number 9. Maleficent, Sleeping Beauty.
I really felt quite distressed at not receiving an invitation.
You weren't wanted.
Not what? Oh dear, what an awkward situation.
What kind of middle school levels of pettiness is this? Are these monarchs really going to invite the entire kingdom over for their daughter's birthday party and exclude Maleficent?
My gift shall be...
Yeah, she's dark and edgy and doesn't fit the aesthetic, but considering her power and influence, the king and queen should have known better.
Fools! Idiots! Imbeciles!
Now, the evil fairy definitely overreacted and misguidedly took her anger out on Aurora, but there's no denying that Stefan and Leah were being jerks. We're not saying that the king and queen were obliged to invite Maleficent to the party, but if they didn't want her there, maybe they should have kept it a more low-key affair.
Well, here's your precious princess.
Don't invite seemingly everyone but her. Number 8. Robert Callaghan, Big Hero 6.
Hang on.
We've invited all these people.
The pilot was Callaghan's daughter. Callaghan blames Cray.
This is a revenge story.
In spite of all the terrible things he did in his quest for revenge, you can't help but feel at least a little sorry for this guy. He lost his daughter in a tragic accident because of a colleague's careless eagerness to test an experimental machine before it was ready.
Was my daughter a setback?
Callaghan, your daughter, that was an accident.
No! You knew it was unsafe. My daughter is gone because of your arrogance.
In a fashion similar to his own personal villain, however, Callaghan ends up causing the death of his protege Tadashi and becoming a villain in his own right.
But Tadashi, just let him die.
Give me the mask, hero.
He went in there to save you.
That was his mistake.
And yes, he did terrible things after becoming the masked yokai, but Callaghan wasn't really evil at heart. He was just a grieving father driven to madness.
You took everything from me when you sent Abigail into that machine. Now I'm taking everything from you.
Number 7. Yzma, the Emperor's New Groove.
That's it, Grant. That's it. I'll get rid of Cusco.
The real Cusco?
Of course, the real Cusco. Don't you see? It's perfect. With him out of the way and no heir to the throne, I'll take over and rule the empire.
She's absolutely bonkers, and yes, evil, but that doesn't make her wrong about Cusco. He's a horrible emperor. He's cruel to his people and only cares about himself.
By the way, you're fired.
Fired? What do you mean, fired?
How else can I say it? You're being let go, your department's being downsized, you're part of an outplacement. We're going in a different direction, we're not picking up your option. Take your pick. I got more.
He lives in lavish luxury while his people struggle to make ends meet. And yet, Kuzco spends much of the movie whining and complaining about how unfair his life is. He constantly puts Yzma down and neglects her skills and talents.
He can't get rid of me that easily. Who does that ungrateful little worm think he is?
No one would call Yzma's motivations altruistic, but you can't blame her for wanting to see him dethroned.
Not the dinner. You know.
Oh, right. The poison for Kuzco. The poison chosen specially to kill Kuzco. Kuzco's poison. That poison?
Yes, that poison.
And considering she's seemingly the only semi-competent politician in sight, we can't help but wonder if she might have actually done a better job, even if her style proved a little authoritarian. Number 6. Captain Hook, Peter Pan.
Right here, Mr. Smee.
Hold it, you fool! No! No!
Captain?
Oh, how dreadful. In the original version of this story by J.M. Barrie, Peter Pan is actually a much more flawed character. And when you really think about it, he's not exactly a great role model. He fed Hook's hand to a crocodile and clearly takes pleasure in tormenting the captain.
Good form, Mr. Smee.
Good form! Did Pan show good form when he did this to me?
Why, Captain. Cutting your hand off was only a childish prank, you might say.
Aye, but throwing it to that crocodile, that cursed beast liked the taste of me so well, he's followed me ever since.
It's one thing to dismember an opponent in the heat of battle, but to feed their hand to a crocodile is just plain malicious. The argument that Peter is just a boy doesn't really hold up either because he's literally young forever, which just means Hook's torment is never-ending.
Well, well. A codfish on a hook.
I'll get you for this, Pan, if it's the last thing I do.
Honestly, it wouldn't be hard to rewrite this story with the villain and hero roles reversed. Number 5. Shere Khan, The Jungle Book.
Let go, you big oaf. Take it easy. Take it easy. Hold it.
It's hard to look past the fact that he tried to murder a child, but to be fair, his motives aren't completely incomprehensible. After all, he's a tiger.
Why should you run? Could it be possible that you don't know who I am?
I know you all right.
He thinks that men don't belong in the jungle because all they do is tear everything down. And when you think about logging, poachers, and forest fires, just to name a few man-made problems, this big cat totally has a point.
Sooner or later, Mowgli will meet Shere Khan.
The tiger? What's he got against the kid?
He hates man with a vengeance, you know that. Because he fears man's gun and man's fire.
His grudge against Mowgli specifically appears to be all kinds of crazy, but you can't really deny his logic. He's just attempting to preserve his home.
Bravo, bravo. An extraordinary performance. And thank you for detaining my victim.
Don't mention it, Your Highness.
Boo!
Let's get out of here.
His willingness to target a child makes him an irredeemable villain, but if he reevaluated his methods, he could equally be interpreted as a heroic protector of the jungle. Number 4. Ursula, the Little Mermaid.
Banished and exiled and practically starving, while he and his flimsy fish folks celebrate. Well, I'll give 'em something to celebrate soon enough.
Flotsam! Jetsam!
I want you to keep an extra close watch on this pretty little daughter of his. She may be the key to Triton's undoing.
Ursula is definitely manipulative, but she never lies to Ariel. Ariel knows that Ursula is a sea witch and yet actively chooses to seek her out of her own accord.
What I want from you is...
your voice.
My voice?
You've got it, sweet cakes. No more talking, singing, zip.
Now, Ursula's eely minions did do some persuading, but there was nothing stopping Ariel from simply swimming away. Instead, she goes to Ursula, asks for her help, and willingly signs away her voice. Ursula never forced Ariel to do anything she didn't want to do. All Ursula did was give her exactly what she wanted, and then came to collect on what was owed to her when Ariel tried to back out of the deal.
Let her go.
Not a chance, Triton. She's mine now. We made a deal.
Daddy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
You see? The contract's legal, binding, and completely unbreakable, even for you.
Number 3. Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed, the Lion King.
Kill him.
These poor hyenas somehow get lumped in with Scar, but we think they're victims. They were banished from the Pride Lands, for who even remembers what reason. Considering they were essentially left to starve by Mufasa, can you blame them for taking up with Scar?
I will be king. Stick with me, and you'll never go hungry again.
When Scar reveals his plan to kill Mufasa, you kinda get the feeling that they're not really into it. Instead, they're just desperate to return home.
No way I'm going in there. But you want me to come out looking like you? Cactus butt?
But we gotta finish the job. Oh, he's as good as dead out there anyway. And if he comes back, we'll kill him.
And let's not forget that Scar is kind of a scary dude. Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed are just a trio of dopes who backed the wrong guy and continue to obey for their own self-preservation.
Simba, I am family. It's the hyenas who are the real enemy. It was their fault. It was their idea.
Number 2. Hades, Hercules. Hades and Zeus take sibling rivalry to a whole other level. Hades was banished to the underworld by his holier-than-thou brother. Just imagine how it made Hades feel to be all alone down there, while all the other gods got to live in paradise on Olympus.
Oh, Hades, you finally made it. How are things in the underworld?
Well, they're just fine. You know, a little dark, a little gloomy, and as always, hey, full of dead people. What are you gonna do?
Okay, we're not condoning his behavior. He did kidnap and attempt to murder an innocent baby in an attempt to overthrow Zeus after all. And that whole thing where he released the Titans to destroy all of the gods because they neglected him was super petty.
And now that I set you free, what is the first thing you are going to do?
Destroy him!
Good answer.
But he just wanted his place back on Olympus, and we can't help but pity him for his position. Is King Triton totally the villain of The Little Mermaid? I gotta go rewatch that now. Now, Ursula's not the only one who makes some valid points. These honorable mentions make us second guess calling them villains too.
Rapunzel knows best, so if he's such a dreamboat, go and put him to the test. Mother, wait! If he's lying, don't come crying. Mother goes first.
Something changed that day inside Lotso. Something snapped.
She replaced us. Come on.
No, she only replaced you.
She replaced all of us, didn't she? She don't love you no more. Now come on!
So, like a child, Winston conflates the two. Mommy and Daddy went away because supers went away. Our sweet parents were fools to put their lives in anybody else's hands. Superheroes keep us weak.
Number 1. Syndrome, The Incredibles.
No, you don't have to worry about training me. I know all your moves, your crime-fighting style, favorite catchphrases, everything. I am your #1 fan.
No one is responsible for the actions of others, but Mr. Incredible's treatment of this impressionable young man certainly didn't help matters. It was clear that this child fan was in need of some guidance, and Mr. Incredible was totally patronizing, leaning into the elitist mentality of superheroes.
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
It tore me apart, but I learned an important lesson. You can't count on anyone, especially your heroes.
Even after supers became illegal, Mr. Incredible had this obnoxious air about him like he was somehow owed more because he was once a superhero. Syndrome's tactics are irredeemable, but the philosophy that drove them is a good one. Why shouldn't average people be able to be superheroes? He was a champion of the little guy and believed in equal opportunity, using his intelligence to achieve it.
After all, I am your biggest fan.
Buddy?
My name is not Buddy! And it's not Incrediboy either! That ship has sailed. All I wanted was to help you. I only wanted to help!
If only he hadn't turned to such villainous methods. Existential crisis incoming. Most of the so-called heroes of these stories are deeply flawed. Now, the true victim of the Emperor's New Groove was the poor guy who threw off Kuzco's groove and then he got thrown out of the palace. Like, what's that about? That's not fair. Now, which of these entries blew your mind the most? Let us know in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe to MsMojo. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.